What's good, YouTube? Quinn Wade basketball analysis coming to y'all with a quick video today. Today we're gonna talk about Moute going back to the Los Angeles Clippers, where he was a pivotal part of Doc Rivers' offense and defense, becoming a 3 and D guy, a guy that can hit the spot of three, as well as guard multiple positions, as well as switch. Um, Friendly. He can guard multiple positions. He's athletic. He's long. He's lanky. He's mobile, and he has good lateral quickness. He's a guy that you want on the team. You don't have to run plays for him. You don't have to make him a centerpiece of the offense. You don't really have to sacrifice anything because he's just going to come in and play his role. Sometimes that can be good, but at his age, it's great because you're not requiring him to do that much. And he has been having a lot of injuries too. So the less you can damage that body, the better. Because at the end of the day, he only played 61 games last year, and 15 of those games he started. He averaged 7.5 points, 48% from the field, 36% from three is where you want to be at or above, 68% from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, and 1.2 steals. He's a guy that's been known around the NBA as a good defender, as a great defender. He will be 32 going into next season, so he's still in his prime. He has been a guy that you put him out on the court and he delivers. He had a couple good games with the Rockets too. That's why a lot of people are surprised that he ended up leaving the Rockets, considering that there was one game away from the NBA Finals, and um, that's the point. Like you that close, and you would think that they'd bring it all back, but they lose Trevor Ariza, they lose by Moute, the guys that they can put on KD, Clay, and Draymond and Steph. You can switch on Steph, and you have multiple players that can play the 2, the 3, and the 4. And Ariza and PJ Tucker and Moute gave them a nasty defensive lineup, and if any one of them got injured, you still had one or two of them coming off the bench, including these guys are defensive specialists, and only person they really have is what Chris Paul and PJ Tucker and Capella a little bit, but that's not as much as they had. They had so much talent last year from top to bottom. I call Houston Rockets one of the best teams I ever seen on paper. They was just picking up Gerald Green for basically nothing. They picked up Joe Johnson for basically nothing. They picked up Bernie Wright for basically nothing. And they said this team is built specifically to beat the Warriors. And that's what Daryl Morey said. He's obsessed with beating them. He feel like he can beat them. And now they have took a step back. Yes, they have re-signed Chris Paul, the best player that they had available, just free agency, but they haven't been able to get a contract done with Clint Capella. I seen articles that said they world apart. They haven't even came close to an agreement, which means that they either gonna have to overpay Capella because of an offer sheet, or he's gonna take the qualifying offer and potentially become an unrestricted free agent next year, or he can just reach a deal with another team and they can match. But I don't know if they want to pay Clint Capella that type of money, which is $20 million a year or plus, just to be a center that just dives to the rim, sets screens, and catches lobs. Yes, he is an integral and pivotal part to this team, and he makes them more dynamic, and he gives them an inside presence that he has become a solid rim protector and rebounder, and a guy that doesn't get in the way. He knows his role and knows what he needs to do. But you can say the same thing about Moute, but he didn't really pan out as much. Like I said, he didn't play that many games, including in the playoffs, so you'll want to see what you can get out of him. Kevin Durant has been torching teams like the Pelicans. We've seen that in the playoffs. You need the size, you need the length to even make it difficult to even contest his shot. You're not going to be able to block KD's shot. There's very few that has done that, but you can contest it and put some length and some athleticism to take up his airspace and get him off balance. And they right now don't really have that person. You can say PJ Tucker and Chris Paul, but Chris Paul hasn't really stopped Kevin Durant from dominating the game lately. And PJ Tucker is a little too little. He can be physical, but what about Clay? What about the other guys on this roster that you have to worry about? Just because you shut down KD don't mean it's the end all be all you won. You still got Steph. You still got Clay. So that was one of the biggest strengths that the Rockets had, was having a guy like Moute, Ariza, and Tucker that can do the switch and then play multiple positions while also giving them length and size for those positions. And now they don't have that, so they lost a big part of their identity and a big part of what they're trying to do, in free agency. So we're going to see what the Rockets do. Let's look at the Clippers roster. They have Patrick Beverly, Avery Bradley. That's a backcourt of two hard-nosed point guards that likes to get into you, that likes to make it difficult, that can shoot the spot up threes, come off screens, keep the offense moving, keep the ball moving. They can play on or off the ball, and that can be very nasty. Seeing two gritty, grindy, physical guards in the backcourt, and then you add a guy like Bob Moute at that 3 or that 4 position. Now you have 3 guys that can really get up in the people and make it difficult and ugly, especially in the Western Conference, where in the Western Conference is so guard heavy. Everybody has a great point guard. Everybody has a great shooting guard. Everybody almost has a great small forward. And to have Bob Moute to go with that backcourt can make it very slow, can make it very gritty and grindy and make it ugly. So that gives them another dimension. That gives them another lockdown defender that they can add to on a perimeter or even in the backcourt if you want Mute to play the forward. He can do that too. So I like that pickup for the Clippers. They getting the two-way players that can knock down the spot up three off the dribble. I mean, not off the dribble, off the ball. And now they added another guy that can either back up or start over Danilo, because Danilo can play the 3 or the 4 too, and he can space out the floor. But he has had so many significant injury problems that it's good to have a backup besides Tobias Harris, because you might want to start one of the two, and it's good to have some more wing depth. Because remember, the league is going to a guard and league happy. It's a guard and league it's a guard and forward league right now, so you want to have as many as you can. And Tobias Harris is not known as a defender; he's known as a scorer. So having that guy that can become that defender will be nice for them if they want to go with more of a tougher approach or switch up to a lineup where they need stops. They can take Tobias Harris out. They can take Danilo Gallinari out, and they can add in, by Mute to give them that edge and give them that toughness and give them that physicality that they both won't bring. Danilo is not known as a defender, neither is Tobias, and it's good to have that defensive ace in your lineup. And remember, Mute already played with Doc Rivers a couple years ago, so he already know what he brings to the table. He already knows how to get the best out of him, and he already know what he's gonna do. So that helps too, knowing to get playing with a coach that know how to utilize you the right way. And I think that was a big factor in Doc Rivers and Luc Mbah agreeing to a deal, because they already had played with each other. But this team had some guards, some small forwards, even with Wesley Johnson on this roster, C.J. Williams. You also have uh, their new rookie Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. So that's another big guy. That's 6'6". He has a chance to continue to grow because he's 19. He can get bigger at the end of the day. He can get a little bit more taller. We don't know when he's going to stop growing until he's 21. So he can be another wing defender. He can be another lone lanky guard. And at the end of the day, that's what the league is turning into anyway. And now they are becoming more like the Rockets, having a lot of those different guys that can play multiple positions and be more flexible and more, defense oriented. So that's what's going to help you win the West. That's what's going to get you to that next top level is defense. You got to learn how to slow down the Warriors. You can't beat the Warriors at the game. That's something that we all know is not being able to beat the Warriors at their own game. So the Rockets got to find a different approach now, losing their prime defenders and losing their prime switch players. They got to find out a whole different way to win, knowing that they lost some big players in those positions. And the funny part was, like I said before, Luc Mbah Moute not playing that many games. You didn't really know how to get the most out of him. 65 is a lot of games, but for him to only start 15 of them, you haven't really got a chance to utilize him the way you wanted to. And he wasn't as big part of the offense. He had some games where he was bad. He had some games where he was good. But he is a guy that does make a difference on the defensive end, and that's something that they lack at this point. So I definitely want to see what the Rockets going to do. Replacing him with Carmelo might give you more offense, but you're going to give up a lot of defensive opportunities by not having Ariza or by Moute, because he's more of a one-way player, which is offense. So we'll definitely see what happens. We'll see what happens with the Rockets. I like that they have versatility. I like that they have the 3 and D guys. I like that they have multiple forwards. I still think Jerry West is still figuring out the roster. He still has more that he's trying to do. He still has a direction that he's trying to go in. I like that they have an identity now. And with that being said, it's going to be fun seeing the growth and how they're going to utilize this team and the direction they're going to go in. And I'm kind of excited to see how this Clipper team is going to be going into next year. So let me know what you guys think. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link in the description in the comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link in the description in the comment section below. If you want to see how the t-shirts look, I'm going to have different colors, different designs, and different logos. You can continue to follow me on analysisplayground.com. There you can see how the t-shirts look before you buy them. You can see the sizes, you can see the designs, you can see the different colors before you actually buy them. So let me know, like on Facebook to show support. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis, I'm gone. And let me know what you think about Moute leaving the Rockets and going right back to the Clippers and trying to make an impact.